And go, Christina.
Okay. Well, welcome all of you new coaches to the November Coach Basics. This is our first call, and last week it was just the beginning of the month, so we decided to let everybody kind of get in the swing of things and then start our call this week. And so I just want to do a shout out to those of you who are new to the Coach Basics group. I know we have a few in this group, and even if you're not live on here and you're catching the recording, I just want to welcome you. We love having you here and are very thankful for just the opportunity to get to work with you and mentor you in any way that we can. And yeah, just to welcome you. Tonight we're going to cover just kind of a variety of things, but really touch base on some of the things that we've been talking about in the group. If you've been following the posts, we've talked a lot about launching your business and just getting started right and figuring out what your story is and how to express that, and then also how to invite. I don't know of anybody that I'm friends with anyway that has signed up as a coach saying, I really just want to sell, I want to make a bunch of money, and I don't really care what happens, I just want to get there. Like everyone that I've talked to, our heart has been, we don't want to be salespeople. We don't want to, we want to put the person first, and we really want to help people and figure out a way to take what we've been impacted by and what we've been changed by and give that to other people. When I signed up as a coach, well, actually I signed up as a challenger first. I was just in a place where I didn't have a firm grip on my health and fitness. I felt a little hopeless and struggled with trying to figure out if this was something for me or if it wasn't. Like maybe I just wasn't meant to be fit. Maybe I wasn't meant to eat healthy, and that was just, my lifestyle. So when I had signed up with my coach and did a challenge group, I felt like she really gave me some hope, and she'd given me tools to be able to be successful, and just baby steps instead of it being this black and white thing where it's either you're super fit and you're always great with your nutrition or you just aren't. There is this balance, and trying to find that, she really taught me, and I think all of us just make those healthy choices about the 80-20 rule, using food as your fuel 80% of the time, but still having some wiggle room so that you can enjoy those things that you like to enjoy, and just having that balance. And the greatest thing for me, and I feel like the biggest gift that my coach gave to me, was the fact that I didn't have to be perfect to make changes and to be a healthy mom. That's what I really wanted to do, is have energy to play with my kids and to just be able to take my husband's compliments and receive them instead of just checking them off as though he's just saying that. That was a gift to me. And coming from a place of, that's something I didn't know, I'm learning this, and now I'm learning how to walk through that. That's something that we all have. Your journey might look different than what mine is. Maybe you've learned certain things and things that have stuck with you, that have impacted you, that have changed your mindset, where you've been given hope in certain areas. All of those things are part of your story, a part of who you are, and that's what's going to set you apart from being somebody that's just like, hey, this is a great product, you really need this. That's not who we want to be. And it's kind of the difference between if you're having a conversation with a friend and they recommend a restaurant to go to, you're much more likely to go to that place than you are just flipping through the phone book, just seeing ads. And we want to be those people having conversations with our friends saying, hey, this is what I've done, this is what I liked about it. And maybe this is something for you, maybe it's not, but I loved it. And this is my story. And a lot of times people will try things just based on the fact that they see that you're passionate about it. You know, I can't tell you how many times somebody has raved about a restaurant and I've gone and I'm like, oh, it's not for me. But I tried it and I still take the recommendations because if they love it, I want to know, and I want to know what they like there. And, you know, it's having a conversation with people. And so when it comes to inviting, it can be very tempting to just spill out everything that we know, everything that we've been changed by. And I would just encourage you to have a conversation and just say, you know, this is one or maybe two things that have impacted you. You know, if you're talking to somebody that's a mom, maybe you want to mention something about the fact that you have more energy to play with your kids, or, you know, something that's relatable. Just the same as if you're recommending, you know, whatever else it might be. Maybe it's a car. You're not going to recommend a 2-passenger to a family that needs a van, you know. And so just trying to find that medium ground and having conversations with people. So when we talk about who to approach and how to build those connections, how to add value, it can be somewhat complicated to explain, because you really just have to walk that out, and you have to find your own voice, and you have to really just vary that on the person too. So when we're talking about inviting and building connections and adding value and really just building relationships, the first thing you have to do is find your story and find your why. And really just think about, maybe make a list of just the things that Beachbody has changed your life. You know, maybe it's just the fact that you can work out from home, and maybe it's more doable. You know, maybe it's Shakeology, that one meal that you don't have to think about that helps you stay on track. You know, whatever those things are, those are gifts that you have that you can be giving to other people. And then when it comes to inviting, this is something that it took me a while to get, and I'm still working on. But really, the majority of your inviting is going to be your sharing with other people on your social media platform. If you're using, most of us, I think, are Facebook, or if you have a like page or Instagram, any of those, when you're sharing your story consistently, you don't have to give the long paragraph invites, because they already know what you're doing. And a lot of times they'll come to you and ask questions. And then it's a lot easier to answer their questions than it is to just give them a bunch of information and hope that something sticks. And so, yeah, when I'm trying to figure out how to invite and how to share my story, number one, you have to know your why. You have to, and that takes time, and it takes just conversations with people around you, with people in the group. One thing I've noticed more recently is that my coaches are comfortable sharing in our challenge group, and that's really comfortable for them to do. And I'm like, you got to take those posts that you're comfortable sharing and those little successes that you're like, yeah, guys, I did this, and get out of your comfort zone and share those on your wall. And then, you know, the second part of that is just learning how to add value. And by adding value, it's taking, what we mean by that is taking things that you've learned and things that you've been impacted by and sharing that. You know, maybe it's a recipe that you tried that your kids actually ate, or, you know, just fitting in the workout and how your schedule looks. You know, most people don't have any idea what a meal plan is. So sharing your meal plan is, I know I love to see how other people prep their food during the week, you know, how they do that. And so anything that you're learning, that's value that you can be adding to other people. And I think what you're going to find is, as you do that, you're going to be looked at as somebody who is working hard towards their fitness. And when people are in a place where they're like, oh, I think I can use that, then you're somebody that's going to come to their mind. So Yeah, and then I think I've shared this before, but one thing that I do when I'm trying to figure out who to approach somebody if I'm not getting those questions, one, if I'm not getting people to reach out to me, that's a sign to me that I need to open up a little bit more. I need to share a little bit more of my journey. But if that's not happening, then I tend to just see who it is that likes my posts or who I'm having conversations with. Who it totally depends. You got to be on the lookout for people that that are like-minded, I guess. I know today there's somebody that I really don't know her that well, but she shared a transformation story, and she like I said, I don't know. I didn't know her. She didn't appear to be a coach because she didn't say anything about Beachbody or credit that. She's just somebody who's trying to add value, and she just had posted this thing saying, hey, I lost a bunch of weight and I've been really consistent and I've been loving it. And so I just sent her a message and I just said, hey, I've shared my story. I know that it's scary to put yourself out there like that, but I just wanted to say that you look amazing and you inspire me. So thank you. And she wrote this long thing back to me, just like, oh, it was so scary. And, and we were able to connect. Again, I don't know her. And I wasn't, in my mind, yeah, it would be great if she signed up and did a challenge group and became a coach and, whatever. Like, your mind can go there. But really, I just wanted to encourage her. And if it goes somewhere, great. And if it doesn't, that's fine too. And so that's what's going to set us apart from other companies and other businesses, is that we are adding value and looking for those people that we can encourage. And if it goes somewhere, great. And if it doesn't, then you've just made somebody's day a little brighter. So I don't know, is there anything that you girls can add to that? I think that's about what I had.
You good? Yeah, I will say that, I think in the beginning, I really would just like post my workout picture and say, oh, I did my workout today, or just say something really short and brief. But I find that the more personal I get and the more that I really share things that I struggle with, that is when I get more response than anything. That's when people reach out to me, and ask about a challenge group. Like when I talk about how, I don't know, just how it's a struggle, or, when the other day when I posted something about, I used to struggle with just being skinny and wanting to fit into a certain size jeans, people really related to that. Whereas, and I think in the beginning, it's hard at first to kind of find your voice, but like Christina said, that once you start to share your story and your why, and you really kind of go deep with it, that's when people start to respond. So it's really kind of scary, and I still get scared sometimes, and Christina, you're really brave with sharing, your emotions and things like that. But that's what people respond to. They relate to our feelings, not just the fact that we're working out and we want to look good, which is great, but, just the deeper why, like Christina said. So if you can find yours, if you can put that into words, and if you need help, we're here to help you do that. If you want to share a post that may be kind of raw with us first, do that. But people really, really, the value comes when they know that you care, and that, like Christina said, it's not just about selling a challenge pack, or not just about, losing weight or anything like that, that it goes deeper than that. So, and I do love that you said that. That's what makes us different. We're not just selling shakes and workout programs. We're really trying to help people change their lives. And when people can feel that, and feel like that's your purpose as well, even in your own life, that's when they start to reach out, and that's when they start to respond positively to those invites. So that was all I had to say.
The only piece I was going to add too is I think in the beginning I really struggled with how much to share and what to share. And I know that kind of an access point for me was using like motivational pictures. You see all those inspirational posts and pictures and sayings and things like that. And I definitely was not right away, somebody who was sort of sharing my health struggles or like a deep-seated kind of how I got to be where I was at. That took me a little bit of time to get to, but what felt like an easier kind of access point was motivational posts, things that struck me, kind of throwing up those pictures and then adding something to it, saying something about why it really hit home for me. That was kind of an easier entry point to sharing a little bit about who I am, but also doing it in a way that like let people know a little bit more about where I was coming from and gave me something that for them to relate to. And so that was sort of another way to do it. I feel like as I've gone occasionally, like I've had those days where I'm like, here, I'm letting it all out. Here's everything you need to know about me. And then other times it's really just like you get snapshots of somebody's life. But frankly, those snapshots have just as much value too. So it's like, okay, I can't tell you the number of times I've had people, like I took a picture getting burgers with my kids and somebody texted me later and was like, oh my God, I was so glad to see that you had fries on your plate. I was like, she's like, if my coach has fries on her plate with her kids, like it's all good. And so it's like sometimes the things that you don't expect that are going to catch people's attention, but it's like you need to really think about the balance. And people do notice that the pieces that make you real, that make you relatable, both the struggles and the fun. So.
Yeah, definitely. I think that's funny. You're like, that's the only vegetable I like.
It's hilarious. She's like, you have sweet potato fries. I'm like, I love them.
That's awesome. Yeah, it definitely. Yeah, and I think that's another thing. Is so valuable that we have to offer is we're real people. You know, we're not. I mean, some of us are. You know, bikini competitors, but I certainly am not. You know, I just want. You're not? No, I just want to have balance, and I want to be, you know, healthy. And a lot of times when you go to the gym, it can be intimidating because there's people that are just they have their stuff together and they've got a firm grip on their fitness, and it can be intimidating too if you feel like just other people are watching you, or maybe you want to lift weights but you're afraid that your form's not going to be right or whatever. Like working out at home, you don't have to worry about anybody's opinion. You're just going to do the best that you can, and that alone is what's really valuable. But I listened to Chalene Johnson's Build Your Tribe in her podcast, and I love Chalene. Sometimes she can be a little, I don't know if it's outgoing or I don't know what it is, but she's positive and she has a lot of information that's great. And one thing that she had said was, in one of her recent ones, was just talking about this thing that we're talking about is adding value. And she actually has a reminder set on her phone to just add value. So she'll think of like 3 to 5 people that just friends or business partners or people, just whoever comes to mind, and she'll connect with them and just add value to them and encourage them. And that really stuck to me because, and she's saying her point was, you're not going to get anywhere in network marketing if you're just trying to do everything, yourself, or you're trying to get that sale, or you're trying to have an agenda, really. She was saying if you serve first, the success will follow that. And it just really hit me because here's Chalene Johnson. I mean, she's incredibly successful. She doesn't need anybody to really do anything for her. I mean, she's not looking for anything in return from these people, but she's able to, she still takes that time to encourage all those people and say, how can I help? And I feel like that's just an insight of her business and her success, is the fact that she's always trying to think, how can I make things better for other people? I mean, really, she probably has enough money that she could just retire and, walk out the world, but that's not her heart. And I feel like she's successful because she does care and she's putting other people first. So anyway, that really stuck out to me. But I think we lost Joy, but does anybody have any questions? I can't unmute anybody.
Well, okay.
There.
Yeah, I'm muted. So Anna, you're the only one on here, so I'm going to pick on you. Are you having trouble, like with posting anything, with sharing anything in particular? I know in the beginning, I just didn't know what to say, honestly. And I kind of just figured it out as I went, and I started to share professional development or personal development things that I was reading. But are you struggling with posting anything in particular that we could help you with? Can you hear me, Anna? She might have me muted.
Hey.
Hi, can you hear me?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, sorry. I think I had y'all on mute too.
That's okay.
Not really with the posting, but I mean, just with the people in general. Like they'll talk about it and be serious about it, and then, you never get an answer.
Mhm. Yeah.
So I mean, pretty much. I mean, that's all I'm having problems with.
Right. And Melissa or Christina, she hears from me all the time. Do y'all want to address that? How you handle that?
Do you follow up? I don't know if she can hear me.
Hey, Anna, did you hear Christina?
No, I didn't.
Okay. She said, do you follow up?
Yes. Like they're the ones that I talked to, I think on Sunday. I wrote them again, yesterday just to check in, and which one hasn't responded, and the other, she was like, it looks good, she said the shake's nasty, and I was like, no, I said, I really enjoy mine, I've changed mine up, and I enjoy them, and I never heard back from her.
I would say follow up again, honestly. I feel like it's busy time of year, and people very often, myself included, check messages on my phone when I'm out and about. And it's like, does it fall back on my radar when I'm sitting down and not distracted? Sometimes, but not consistently. So I feel like I do slightly different messages for the one you talked to. Just say, hey, I just wanted to follow back up. You seemed really interested. Let me know if there's a time we can connect. And that's where I will often suggest, can we, do 5 minutes? Do you want to get on the phone? We can just kind of answer any questions you have, because at a certain point I feel like messenger or email gets really clunky. And if you're finding that and I feel like some people are really good and respond right away, and other people, you get that like 3 to 7 day delay, and you're like, this could be a 3-week conversation and it might peter out just from the inertia of it. Sometimes I feel like if we go in that direction, I'll just say, hey, do you have 5 minutes? Can we get on the phone?
Yeah.
And I do really try and give that time frame, because I used to say, hey, do you want to connect on the phone? And I found that when it's easier to say, like, give them a window. Like, I'm not going to get you on the phone and talk your ear off and try to sell you something. Like, do you have 5 minutes? We can connect between you when you drop your kid off and pick them up or whatever. I feel like that's.
I see what you're saying.
Well, and I had, this is kind of a side story, but I had somebody reach out to me before about a skincare, and I wanted to try it for probably like 4 years, and I still haven't bought anything. I'm like the worst prospect ever, and it's a huge part of it is because I'm kind of waiting for her to follow up. I mean, at one point, I feel like I'm doing all the reaching out and responding, and she hasn't really followed up. And as horrible as this sounds, I met with somebody else who's very consistent, very sweet. She always follows up, and I'm going to go with her. And that sounds terrible, but I am, because it's her business, and she's very respectful, and she says to me, when you're, it's kind of like a Shakeology home direct. She's like, I'll always remind you, and I'll check in with you. And I'm like, I need somebody like that. Like, I need somebody that I'm like, hey, I'm coming. I need somebody that kind of comes back and says, okay, I know you were interested. If it's a good time, we can connect. And if it's not, that's all right. I can check back with you later. Like, I feel like as long as you're respectful, and if you can give her permission to not have responded. So, and what I mean by that is just saying, hey, I know it's a really busy season. I just didn't want you to miss out because you seem like you're interested. Or I'm holding a spot for you. Or I had you penciled in. Is this something that you're still interested in? I feel like you can we put it on ourselves to think, gosh, we're just being annoying, when they might really value somebody, you know, kind of doing a little hand holding and encouraging them along that way. Because even though I know the skincare thing would probably be really good for me, it's not a priority. And because she's passionate about it, and I'm going to go with her and have her prompt me and kind of helped me a little bit, because it's something I should be doing. I just, at this point, I don't care. And a lot of times people are that way with their fitness. Like, they know they should be doing it. They do want to, you know, sometimes they get enough to answer and reach out. But really, we kind of have to coach them along the process of even getting signing up, the same way we do once they're signed up, and we check back in with them and say, hey, how's it going? I haven't heard from you. You know, it's that same responsibility. And as long as you're respectful and not pushy, I feel like it comes off as more of a value to them. As this is somebody that, you know, is really going to keep me accountable. So,
Yeah.
Right.
Like Anna, I had a girl who who really, this is Rachel. She kept, you know, she really wanted to do it, but she just she moved to Texas or something. Anyways, and so she told me she was going to order it when she got there, and that was 2 days ago. And I just messaged her again tonight, and we've gone back and forth a lot. But I just said, hey, I don't want to bug you, but I want to make sure you're part of the group that started yesterday. I said, I think tomorrow, I kind of gave her like a deadline. I said, I think tomorrow would be the last day to order and get your stuff before we officially kick off on Monday. And I said, I know you're busy.
Right.
So if you want to wait until next month, I totally understand, you know? And so I just gave her a deadline. And then I basically told her, gave her an out, because I mean, I knew she was really interested, and I couldn't figure out why I knew she was busy, but I just told her, and I don't normally give an out. I usually, you know, give a deadline and say, let's do it. But given the fact that she was moving and all this stuff, I just said, I gave her a deadline, and, you know, I said, you know, just let me know. And if not, that's okay. Because I don't want to bug people. I don't want to bug people at all. But like you said, she sounded really interested. So I just followed up one last time, and I kind of let her know that it was the last time for this challenge group. And she responded and said, I'm ordering now. So, you know, I mean, and some people take that, you know, they need that.
Right. And I guess that's me. I don't want to, you know, I don't want to think I'm bugging them or trying to make a sale or, you know, whatnot.
Yeah.
But
go ahead.
And
I think
you know,
sorry.
A lot of them, I don't know, it's they don't understand that, you know, okay, I mean, this challenge group has already started, so, you know, really, we need them to, you know, order as soon as they can. But how do you tell them that? I guess just like you just said.
Yeah, I just say, look, you know, the challenge group started, and I really, you know, I know you wanted to be a part of it, and I just want to make sure that you know that tomorrow would really be the last day to order your challenge pack. You know, and if it's somebody, like you said, you followed up with a lot of times, you know, you can just say, I run challenge groups every month, you know, and I would just send them the message first and say, you know, the challenge group started. Tomorrow would really be the last day to order your challenge pack. I'm holding you a spot. If you want to join us, just let me know so I can, so just let me know for sure, and then leave it there.
Yeah.
If he responds back and says, oh, I didn't do it, or I can't do it this month, just say, I run challenge groups every month. I would love for you to be a part of it, you know, and leave it at that. And as you continue to post, and, you know, Melissa and Christine will agree with me, and I've told you all this a lot, I think, but, you know, people, all the no's now, a lot of the no's now become yeses later. So if you keep posting
later
workouts, you keep inviting to challenge groups, you know, people who really are interested, they're going to jump on board. It may not be next month. It may be, you know, like I told y'all the other day, I had somebody purchase this month who told me, hey, I've been following you for a year, and I think I want to do a challenge group, you know? So, I mean, it pays off. That consistency and that inviting, and those conversations pay off. You just, you know, if they don't do it, I always leave the door open. Or, you know, I say, if you need help, you know, creating a meal planner, if you want to just borrow one of mine, just grab one off my Facebook page. I leave it open and let them know that I didn't just want to make a sale, or, you know, I really want to help people. But in order to be in the challenge group, I wanted you to know that, you know, you need to get your challenge pack ordered, basically.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'll just start doing that then and see where that goes.
Okay. Do you guys have any other questions? Joy, did you have any questions? Hold on, I gotta unmute you.
Oh, no, I'm pretty good. Sorry, I cut out for a bit, but yeah, I think it's good. I just really, with this being the second time I'm doing the Coach Basics, I'm seeing a lot of what we were talking about, what I was going through last month, and really like starting to get the hang of it. So yeah, I guess that's all I really have to say.
And so, like, I'm sorry to go back to you, Anna. Do you feel like she understood that she needed the challenge pack to be?
Well, I mean, yeah, because I told them, that it was starting on Monday, and I stressed that, it usually takes about 6 days to come in. So I said the first week is prep week, so you would still, if you ordered within the next couple of days, your challenge pack would be in by the time we started.
Okay. Yeah, I have some people who, like, I could talk to forever, and they just think it's a free group or something, and so I have had that.
Right. They do. A lot of them do. And, I've had people to say, yeah, I'm in. And then, when I start explaining it to them, they're like, well, I can't do it right now because Christmas is coming up. And, and I get that. But at the same time, it's kind of like, okay. I mean, I was that way in the beginning, and I was like, I don't really need to spend $150, but I'm so glad I did.
Yeah.
And I don't. This may sound kind of weird. I mean, I don't miss that $150. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I mean, I know some people do, and I mean, there's times where I do.
And
but
you know what?
When you think about it,
you should put that in a
do
post.
What now?
What you just said, you should make that into a post. About, at first I didn't want to spend the $150 on this, give all the reasons why. And then you said, but I'm so glad I did, and if you post, you don't have to address anybody in particular, but, address those objections that you're getting in your post. Yeah. And I find that goes a long ways,
Okay.
It's odd at first to talk about money or to talk about Shakeology even. I still am funny about talking about Shakeology. But whenever I talk about Shakeology, I get so many questions, and I sell so many samples of Shakeology. And, like I had the other day when I talked about it, when I was holding my bag of Shakeology and talked about the cost, I had 2 people that messaged me and said they wanted to try it, so it feels,
oh yeah.
And it feels strange at first to talk about money and talk about a bag of powder. But people don't understand it, and everything that you just said would make a great post. And that's just sharing your story, and that'll resonate with people. And they'll if if she struggled with wanting to buy it in the first place, but she really loves it, then maybe I should think about it,
Right. Well, and I've had this a lot. I've had a lot of girls say, well, I can order that off Amazon without the shakes. And then, I had to stress to them how the shakes, what all's in them and what they're equivalent to and all that good stuff. And, sometimes they're like, okay, or sometimes they're just like, I don't know. I have a friend actually that's been texting me for a couple of days, and she started working out back last year, going to the gym, and I mean, she's built. She looks awesome. And I guess she's kind of slacked off going to the gym, with it being winter. And she's actually been messaging me since Sunday, and she told me today that she said, I think I'm going to order a challenge pack within the next couple of days.
Oh, good.
So, I'm hoping maybe that will be one. But yeah, I mean, I love my 21-day fix, and I always, when I talk to people, I stress that to them, too.
Yeah,
so.
and like Christina said, making sure you're, and I don't really talk about the programs that I'm doing, just like flat out say I did 21-day fix today. I might use a hashtag or something, or I might talk about it like once a week or once a month or something, but people know what I'm doing without me like just vomiting about it every day. But it's those daily posts. It's like people know when I start the 21-day fix, and they know when I end it. People know when I started Body Beast, and they're going to know whenever I finish it. And sharing your daily workouts and sharing your results from those programs is what's going to make people believe in it and want to buy it. And, you know, and I do talk Shakeology, you know, from time to time. And so, like when you share your Tuesday transformation, I always make sure that I mention what program those people did that I'm posting about, and that they included Shakeology. You know, just so people see and hear and understand what it's about. Does that make sense, Kristen? Melissa, do y'all have anything to answer that?
I would just add, you have to break down the cost for them sometimes. Yeah. And, you know, it is a really great value. So one thing that I do, instead of saying, you know, well, it normally costs $130, you could say, if you bundle it together, it's a really great opportunity because the program cost is the same. You know, if you get it on Amazon or you get it here, it's a similar cost. If you're just you're paying like say $60 for the 21-day fix, whether you're getting that, you know, through a coach or through Amazon, when you bundle that together with a challenge pack, that makes Shakeology like $80. And so when you tell them, well, it's only $80 for a whole month of meals, makes it about $267 per meal. Like, that's really cheap. And so sometimes you have to break it out for them, you know, depending on what their objection is. That's how you kind of swing it. You know, if the objection's towards the program and you don't want to pay for that Shakeology, you know, you can say, well, you can get the program for $10, you know, because you're, and if their objection to Shakeology, you can say, well, this is an opportunity when you bundle it, it's on sale. So, you know, you can only get the program through Amazon, but through me, you can actually get shakes for really, really cheap. And if you don't like them, you can do the whole program, especially 21-day fix. You can do the whole thing and return it back empty if you don't see the value in it. And so sometimes it's just figuring out, you know, what's their objection, and then helping them to recognize that it's worth the risk of buying it and seeing it. And you know, $267 for a meal, if you're looking at it that way, that's a really great deal, especially when it's a healthy meal. I mean, you can't even get a coffee for that. So I don't know if that helps.
Okay, well, yeah, I may have to start doing that then.
And another thing I was going to mention is sometimes when you feel like you've sent them a couple of follow-up messages and you're like, gosh, I don't really even know if they're seeing it. I've done a voice memo. If you have like an iPhone, I don't know if you can do it on what devices you can do it on, but you can actually record, and so they hear your voice. And a lot of times people feel a little more obligated to get back to you because it's a voice memo, but also because you can make it personal. They can hear your voice in it. You can just say, hey, you know, the challenge group's going to start. I just didn't want you to miss out, so let me know either way, you know, and then just shoot them a quick message. It doesn't have to be, you know, anything extravagant. It can just be a, hey, I'm thinking of you. So that's another idea. Sometimes I feel like I'm just sending them, you know, messages and they're not getting them. Sometimes that works.
Okay.
And the other thing too is we've been talking a lot about the follow-ups, and I feel like the reality is this time of year especially, some people are just you're going to get people who are just not going to respond at all. And then you're going to get people who you start the conversation with and then they just fall off the face of the earth. And I feel like that happens all the time, and it's especially happens around this time of year where people are just distracted by everything under the sun. So I feel like this is also a time to really, really keep track of who you're contacting. When you initiate those conversations, is there like a response? Is there some interest? And then if it peters out, you know, get in touch with them later. I feel like then I'll put them on my check-in right around kind of the holidays, like check in, get them back, you know, in January. So I feel like that becomes kind of your rollover to contact next time. So if you don't get to that place, like very often if I get to that place in a conversation where they eventually say, oh, now's not the right time, I'll say, can I, you know, that I totally get it. Would you like me to check in next month? But sometimes if you don't have that dialogue going back and forth, I used to worry, like, I don't want to pester them. Like if I'm scrolling through my Facebook messages and I'm like, I've emailed them or messaged them 4 times and they never responded, I don't want to be a pest. And I will say, like, oh, wait, like give them 2 months. and check back in. And I feel like that very often becomes a like, hey, I know last time was busy, wanted to see how you're doing and check in and see if you might be interested. And I'm always surprised, even though I feel like still a year in, I feel like I'm pestering people. Very often you get people who, after the 6th message, a couple months have passed, will say, I'm finally ready. Or, thanks for sticking with me. I know it was a pain in the butt. I didn't respond to any of your messages, but I think I'm finally in that place. And I get that enough that it makes it feel like it's still worth it to do, because people really are watching and waiting for the moment when, and I do the same thing. Like, conditions had to be optimal. And at a certain point I finally started, because I realized conditions were never optimal. But I think everybody kind of needs to get to that place themselves to realize that. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
And it definitely helps to gear your posts, like we were saying, to what the objection is. If you feel like you're getting a lot of time objections or cost objections or any of that, just taking those objections and turning them into your goals that you're working towards. Maybe your cost is the thing that comes up a lot. Well, then you can talk about your business and how you're earning money towards like your goals towards Christmas. I know we have that Cash for Christmas thing going on, and you can take like the time objections and start gearing your posts to speaking to some of those things that people are saying. And another thing I do, if I feel like somebody really reached out to me and they seemed interested, and they just kind of disappear, and you really don't know why. I mean, there could be so much that's going on that you don't know about, and maybe it has nothing to do with health and fitness. But I go back to their timeline and I just add value there. And if they're posting things about their family or whatever, I'll comment on that just to kind of support them in ways that aren't health and fitness, if that makes sense. And so I feel like that's for different times. Or I'll ask them questions, and I don't know if Melissa and Rachel do this, but there's times where they don't respond to me and it's been a little while, and then they post about something that intrigues them. And so I will just completely change the subject and say, hey, where'd you get your family photos done? They look great, or I'll say, like, I asked this lady who I've talked to on and off about different things, and I think she really wants to do it, but I think she's just really busy. And I'd asked her about, they did like a girls' night and do like a paint party. I don't know, do you guys have those in your area? You get together like for girls' night and you do paintings. Anyway, I liked their paintings and I was being genuine, and I thought, well, I'm going to ask her. She hasn't responded to me. And where before, when I first started, I would be like, oh, I don't want to ask her. I sent all those messages, and now it's like this awkward thing. And I just pretended like we didn't even have that conversation and started new. And so she gave me all this paragraph about the painting and who it was and the link to the website. And then I was like, hey, and I've been meaning to get back to you. And I was like, yes. So you just never know.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I agree. You never know for sure.
And I've had this other lady, and she's done my free group. She hasn't signed up yet, but we were having a conversation, and then she just disappeared. And I sent a few follow-ups, and I was like, gosh, I don't know. And I didn't know her very well, other than we had a lot of mutual friends. And it turned out that her daughter was going through some major illness and had to have surgery, and she wasn't sharing that publicly with anybody. So it wasn't something that I could have known about. But once she posted that, because I kind of had her on my contact list and I saw that post, like I immediately went back to her and just, encouraged her and told her, it turned out fine, and I just told her I'm so excited for you that this went well, and like the surgery was taken care of, and her daughter isn't ill anymore, and asked her how she was doing. And so you just don't know. I mean, you hope that that's never the case, that somebody's got something major going on, and you hope that they're just busy, but you don't know. And so you just want to be supportive and leave that door open. Like Rachel said, anytime you can leave the door open for communication and be supportive with their fitness, but really just any of their whole life, you know, just being supportive in them as a person and just being a friend is really, it's really my goal. So, anything
Okay.
else? All right. Well, I think we're good unless Rachel, Melissa, you guys have anything to add? All right. Well, awesome. If you guys have any questions, or if you have posts where you feel like this is a little bit scary and you want our feedback on it, or you have a conversation that you're not sure how to respond, or any of that, that's what this group is for. So you can post it and get, you know, our feedback and just hear, you know, how we take it, and we'll be honest and we'll give you tips, or we'll, you know, we won't lead you astray. So feel comfortable to share any of that in the group if you're just not sure. And yeah, and then post any questions, and hopefully Rachel will be able to get this recording for the coaches that missed it. But thank you, ladies, for hopping on the call, and yeah, have a good night.